as Los Angeles comes apart at the seams. Simple entertainment or a coldly calculated financial exploitation of our baser emotions? In the studio to discuss that question and others is the executive producer of Earthquake, Jennings Lang. Mr. Lang, how do you evaluate entertainment in the film industry?
Well, I would say that entertainment involves all of our senses or part of our senses. In other words, I think to entertain you have to strike an emotion somewhere in the audience. The emotion can be laughter, it could be crying, it could be getting nervous, it could be getting shocked. I think if it's just an intellectual experience, it's bore, unless you want to be educated.
Yeah, see, I wonder how you go about putting together a film like Earthquake. Do you sit down and think up all those emotional shocks you can give people, like people dying in lifts and that sort of thing, and then put it all together and say, there's a script, let's make a movie?
No, really, that's not the way. Well, first of all, there are no ways it happens the same way. In other words, each picture has a different source of material. It could be from a book, it could be from a play. In the case of Earthquake, it happened very simply. It was in one of our more forceful tremors. I was in bed with my wife. I ran to the young boy's room. The young boy was underneath a door, kneeled over, and I said, Rocky, what's going on with you? He said, well, it probably won't help, but they taught us to do this at school. And we were looking for subjects that had wide appeal, that would not be good for New York and bad for Los Angeles and good for London, bad for Paris, or great for Auckland and bad for Sydney. And it occurred to me that a common disaster where the person didn't do anything to put himself in that disaster. Example, successful Poseidon adventure. He had to get on that ship. Successful airport. He had to get on that airplane. I thought that this was a whole new area to explore the emotions of a vast amount of people. And that's how we hit Earthquake.
But of course this has been done now several times with Airport, you just mentioned, and now there's Airport 75 and Earthquake, and there's another one called Towering Inferno, I think, from an opposition film company.
And Fox. And Warner Brothers, they combined to make it.
These are all exploiting these shocking emotions, death, destruction.
They might be, but in different ways. I can only speak for the motivation and the reason behind selecting various pieces of material. Our primary responsibility is to the public who we make the films for. In the case of Airport, the original Airport was made on the basis of the fact that it came from a bestseller, an international bestseller, and the audience was very interested in that book. And if you examine the film itself, you will see there was only one loss of life, and the plane came down. And actually, it was reassuring to the audience to be able to fly, because in spite of the door being off the plane did get down, and everybody was safe. So it wasn't just to shock and scare and be a downer with people. In the case of Airport 75, we would naturally felt that the people were interested in that kind of film, but actually it is not a sequel to that film. And this also shows how a different aircraft, a newer aircraft, the 747, without a pilot, without a crew, on the basis of an accident that could happen, whereas a flyer in a private plane gets a heart attack, runs into it, how that plane can be taken out. And actually the Boeing people who make both the 707 and 747 were pleased after they saw the film, where they were frightened to death before they saw the film.
Well, now, Earthquake, in a way, seems to be a throwback to the old days of Hollywood, say, Sodom and Gomorrah, that sort of thing. Is this a last-ditch stand against television?
No. Television is here to stay, and that's where I came, and I've been there, and we make many more television shows than we make movies. The record business is here to stay, and the radio business is here to stay, even though television came in. We just have to, we augment each other and we help each other, and we get better because of it.
The film industry then is still carrying on?
It's
healthy.
Carrying on, it's changed, it's more eventful, it's less a habit, it's more of a special thing to go to a movie, and we try to make special pictures like Airport 75, Earthquake. And we also try to make special pictures where there are special people in it, like The Sting last year with Bob Redford and Paul Newman. Now, that particular piece of material might well be done on television, but in order to make it a special event, we put these two stars together. So the movie business is now a special event business.
Jennings Lang, thank you.
You're welcome.